I'm going to be honest and say to you that it was, no pun intended, a torrent of abuse, and that's fine. I'm a politician. We put our names on ballot papers. We get elected. It was a fair torrent of from very reasonable, rational views to the extreme, and that's life as a politician in this country. I have sympathy for colleagues who have faced this, okay? Because there was a time when I thought I was actually worried about some of the people who were engaging with me. I'm not worried about myself, but I was worried about some of the people, and younger, I'm going to say males in particular. And the reason I was worried was because some of it was really worrying in terms of the language used. There was an element, some of it was misogynistic, some of it was quite violent, if I could use that. Now maybe that was, young guys, certain period of their lives, and so on and so forth. What worried me was, that it was the fact that young guys in particular who were engaging on this issue were entertaining such thoughts, if you will. Anger is one thing, but some of it was quite vociferous, and it spilled over into kind of quite violent language, if you will. I'm not, I say that just objectively, okay? I can handle it, I'm a politician. But it was a major learning curve, but it wasn't SOPA. We were not doing SOPA. And
did that frustrate you that it was it was in your view so misinterpreted?
Well, it did, because you had, a website was set up to create, I'm sure this interview is going to create a lot of controversy now, because people will parse certain sections of what I'm saying now and they will blow it out of proportion. And I'm sure once this goes live, my website will be attacked, and I'm sure my Twitter account is going to get fairly you know what I mean? That's fine, I can handle all that stuff, you know what I mean? But I did try to engage with people, and I did try to engage constructively on Twitter, but it was a waste of time, you know what I mean? And
so you think you were better off just not engaging at all?
But by nature, I'm having this interview and I'm talking about it now, so by nature I like to hammer it out with people, you know what I mean? And that's what I tried to do on Twitter, but it just wasn't the proper medium for that, and I'm a prolific Twitter user. The only thing about the learning curve on this one is that it was very hard to convince people that it wasn't SOPA, okay? And no matter how hard you tried that, the more vociferous the attacks were. And I can understand people's point of view on it, but at the end of the day, it wasn't SOPA. We are bound by copyright law, which is handed down, which we signed up to actually as a member of the European Union. Some would argue that it needs to advance, it needs to be modernised. I would be in that camp, ironically, okay, in spite of what people have said. I had all sorts of accusations that I was taking brown envelopes from the music industry.
Were you?
It's nonsense.